All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
I was walking home from school on a cold winter day. Took a shortcut through the woods, and I lost my way. It was getting late, and I was scared and alone. But then a kind old man took my hand and led me home. My mama couldn't see him, oh, but he was standing there. And I knew in my heart he was the answer to my prayers. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. If you would like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And for all the programming that we have available for you on the Xzone TV channel, which is exclusive to Simul TV, visit www.simultv.com. And we're coming to you around the world tonight on the Xzone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Simul Radio, Simul TV, and, of course, the Talkstar Radio Network. My guest this hour is Karen NOE, and Karen is a renowned psychic, medium, spiritual counselor, and healer with a 2-year waiting list since best-selling author Dr. Dwayne Dyer left the physical plane in 2015. Karen has been receiving profound messages for him and for his family, and for the world as well. Wayne also comes through with a group of other celestial beings called the We Guides that includes St. Francis of Assisi, numerous angels, and ascended masters. Joining me now to talk about connecting with angels this hour here in the X Zone is Karen NOE. And Karen, welcome back to the X Zone. It's always a great pleasure talking to you about my favorite topic, angels.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
Karen, let our listeners know a little bit of the backstory. How old were you when you realized you had these gifts? Was there anything special that happened in your life that catapulted you into the position you are today?
Absolutely. Well, when I was younger, I was very psychic always. My friends used to say that I freaked them out. Those were their words. You know, I would know things that would happen before they did and have dreams that would happen. But about 20 years ago, a little bit over 20 years ago, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And I sat at the edge of my bed, and I just yelled at God and the angels, and I said, give me a sign to let me know if I'm going to be okay. And with that, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And as it was coming towards me, my first response was, if you're not of God, please leave. Now, I know 20-something years later that everything is of God. We're all one and all of that. But at that time, I was worried. I said, if you're not of God, please leave. But the more I said that, it kept coming towards me and eventually enveloped me. And at that particular time, I heard an audible voice that said, Lucia Lucina, Bella Lucia Lucina. And for those Italian listeners, they know what this means. It means light, little light, beautiful little light. And I've since learned that it was St. Francis of Assisi who's been guiding me and protecting me ever since. And I started receiving messages from angels, ascended masters, deceased loved ones, and the rest is history.
Isn't St. Francis of Assisi the patron saint of animals?
He sure is. He sure is. And if you follow me on Facebook or any of my books, I've written 4 books, and you'll see that connection with the angels and with the animals, and with angels as well, and about peace on earth and all of that. So, yes, he is.
Why do you think that you were chosen to receive the messages from Dr. Wayne Dyer?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I actually, when I started receiving, I was a huge fan of his. Let's go back. I was a huge fan of his. I was a fellow Hay House author with him. I did not know him personally, but when he passed, I felt I needed to do something for his family. So I sent an email to his daughter, Serena. He has 8 children.
Right.
And she had been on my radio show called The Angel Quest Show a few weeks prior to his passing. And I said, is there anything I could do, Serena? I'd love to send you a copy of my book. At that time, it was called Your Life After Their Death. That was several years ago. And, make sure to ask him to give you signs to let you know he's with you. Ask him to come to you in a dream and to wake you up after the dream so you remember it. And so forth. And that was pretty much it. Then I was scheduled to speak at an event in Florida about life after death. And it was also a day that Hay House was going to pay tribute to Dr. Dyer. Long story short, because it is a long story, I was going onto the bus, the author bus, going from the hotel to the conference center. And I was on the bus. There was one seat available on the whole bus. And in walked Serena Dyer, his daughter, who I sent the book to, sat next to me. And literally the rest is history. Synchronistic events came through. He started coming through. They flew in from Florida, New Jersey to receive, to get a reading. And I was nervous as anything. But I was worried. I've been doing this for many years, but I never did reading for Wayne Dyer. And it's been ongoing for a number of years. He comes through with the most, the moment she's ready to give birth. Serena's ready to give birth, and I know all their children now. I was actually asked to go to their wedding, to Sage's wedding, the youngest one, and the rest is history. But he came through the most important messages for the world. He came through for his family to let everybody know that it really is him, because they were very specific messages. But he also came through as a group consciousness called the We Guides, where he combined his energy with St. Francis, Ascended Masters, the angels. And they gave 33 concepts to create peace on earth, basically.
How come they're not being used? Because there is anything but peace on earth.
Yeah, you bet. I know. Well, it's up to us whether or not we want to listen.
Well, what are the concepts that he gave that could actually bring peace to earth?
I have. I was prepared for the oracle cards, but a lot of them is one to forgive, to ask forgiveness. That we're just as important as everyone else, that basically what the 33 concepts say, that we are all one, and that whatever we do to ourselves or another, it affects everyone.
But this sounds a lot like what is in the Bible, the Christian Bible. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and then the 10 Commandments. So here we have a book that is well over 2,000 years old, that is right around the world, that is practiced, people believe in it. And still there's no peace.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. What could we do? We begin with ourselves. We begin to change ourselves. We begin to look at solutions rather than the problem. We focus on what we want rather than what we don't want. And if each one does that, if we raise our own vibration to who we really are, we have God within us. We don't realize that, but we do. And each one of us could create miracles in our lives if only we understood that concept. The only difference between a miracle worker and one who is not is that the miracle worker knows. But
once again, what you're saying parallels Christianity.
Correct.
So these aren't new concepts.
Exactly. No, they're not. It's just reinforcing what we've been told before, pretty much.
Who was tell us about your first experience and connecting with your very first angel.
Well, it was with St. Francis of Assisi. when I was going through a difficult time. I think I just discussed that, yes? With the light coming towards me and enveloped me.
Yeah, but I thought, I thought maybe there
angel?
was a different
Yes,
story
after
when
that,
it comes to an
then
angel.
I started, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So right after that experience, I became more psychic, and I already was crazy things, Rob. When I was younger, my father used to take me to the racetrack, and I picked the winning horses for him, and now I'm an animal activist. I don't go to the track and things like that. But I was very psychic. Then I started feeling angels. Now, angels, when they come through, I do not see them. I feel them. Or sometimes they come as light. So my first experience, I was sleeping, and I just opened my eyes, and I see this being of light. Mm-hmm. And it just was an overwhelming sense of peace. There was really no message, just an overwhelming sense of love and peace. And pretty much that we're all one with this angelic being, with God, with the angels. And it's not Karen NOE is not special, that we can all do this as well.
The New Age concept of angels are celestial beings, and yet you have other aspects of the New Age who talk about extraterrestrials, aliens, UFOs. They are classified as celestial beings. So
they are, yes.
All right. So in your opinion, because you've been doing this for a few years now, are they one and the same?
They sure are, and I love that question. As a matter of fact, that's the first concept of the we consciousness. That includes beings in other dimensions and other planets, universes, and all of it. They're all one with us. Yes.
How do we know there are other dimensions?
Oh boy! Well, if you look up in the sky, you're talking about other life on other planets.
I believe there is existence on other planets, not like us, but yes.
No. Not like as we know it, perhaps, because of, the way the sun is and all of that.
Right, yeah.
But it's foolish to think that we're the only life, on all in this vast universe. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, I've experienced it myself a couple of times. One time I was meditating, and we all can do this too. I want to tell everybody the experiences that I have had, everyone can do. I was quieting my thoughts and meditating, and all of a sudden I open my eyes and I see this being. You know what, you've read about it with the big eyes and just the being of light. It was an extraterrestrial.
All right, we have to take a break. Please stand by, Karen. And Exo Nation, I got so involved with listening to Karen that we nearly missed this break. Karen NOE is our special guest. Her website is KarenNOE.com. That's www.KarenNOE.com, KarenNOE.com.
Took a shortcut through the woods, and I lost my way. It was getting late, and I was scared and alone. But then a kind old man took my hand and led me home. Mama
And welcome back, everyone. Karen NOE is our special guest this hour here in the X Zone. Her website is KarenNOE.com. That's KarenNOE.com. And Karen is the Hay House author of We Consciousness, 33 Profound Truths for Inner and Outer Peace. Your Life After Their Death, A Medium's Guide to Healing After a Loss, and Through the Eyes of Another, A Medium's Guide to Creating Heaven on Earth by Encountering Your Life Review Now. Once again, KarenNoe.com. So you had this encounter with St. Francis, and did St. Francis have a message for you? Now, you said you didn't see angels, you felt them, but did you see St. Francis?
No, as a light, he came as a light, and an experience as a feeling. And they speak to me telepathically for the most part, because they are spirit. You know, we're expecting to see an apparition of a deceased loved one, of an angel, but they're not in a physical body. So they come to us the way they are spiritually,
Right.
telepathically and so forth. We have to just notice the thoughts that pop in your mind for no reason. You have to tell the difference between your thoughts and theirs, and there's a very simple way of doing that. Your thoughts will have an originating thought that triggers a thought, that triggers another thought. That's you. Whereas when they come, it'll just kind of pop in your head. Does that make any sense? Like when my mom passed, for example, I heard in my mind, "Hi, sweetheart." I don't call myself sweetheart, so that's what I'm talking about.
All right. I understand that. But why is it only certain people? Now, you say everyone can do what you do.
Yes.
You don't do anything special that anyone else cannot do. But how come the vast majority of people don't do this?
I don't know. I really don't. It just blows my mind because I know we're all able to do it. We just have to learn how to. You know, we could ask our angels to give us signs to let us know they're with us. We have to raise our vibration so it's more on par with the energy of who they are. So it's kind of like tuning into 3200 FM, but you want 1300 AM. You're not going to hear them. So you have to resonate with their energy, resonate with that love and peace. And believe me, I'm not always love and peace. You know, I go experience things as well.
But, you're human.
For the most part. Of course.
Then, okay, so how do we find out what frequency the angel channel is on, and how do we raise our frequency, or the fine tuner on this radio set that we have inside of us, to get to that angel frequency?
Okay, well, first of all, we want to set the intention. We want to set the intention that we want to raise our vibration, and we want to connect with the celestial realm. Once you do that, the law of attraction brings them to us. Then we have to pay attention to the signs that things that happen around us. Become more aware. Look for the signs, and just ask them to give you a without a doubt sign. I call them without a doubt signs. Practice forgiveness. Be more compassionate. See through the eyes of others. That's an important one. After we leave the physical body, we go through a life review where we're able to see and feel how we've affected others through their eyes, as if we are the other person.
All right, so am I clear to understand that not only do you go through the whole life review after you pass, but on your way to try and establish the angel channel?
Correct. I always tell people, a lot of times, that through all the messages I've received during the many years I've been doing this, a common message is, from the deceased loved one. I'm not talking about angels. Angels are different than deceased loved ones. We could talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
They often say, I should have, could have, would have. I should have done this, but I should have told you how much I loved you, and I never did. I'm sorry. I should have forgiven you, and I'm sorry. I should have asked for forgiveness. I'm blah, blah, blah. And oftentimes it's too late. So I tell people, why? Why do we have to wait until it's too late to go through our life review? Why don't we try to see through each person's eyes right now? And we could create peace in our lives right here and now, and in the lives of their lives, and the lives of others as well.
Okay, but if we're saying, why should we wait until we die to have a life review? Isn't that a bit of an oxymoron? Because how can you have a life review when you're still alive?
Go through your life. See how you have affected each person. Try to see it, if you can. One of my books is called Through the Eyes of Another, so I wrote about that. Try to look at each person you encounter through their eyes. You may not agree with what they are doing, but try to understand why. Why are they doing what they're doing? Okay, I had one woman who came to see me. Her name was Donna, And she was physically and mentally abused by her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she just had been going through so many years of therapy. She couldn't forgive her and so forth. And finally, we talked about seeing through her mother's eyes, not that it was right. As a matter of fact, it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Try to understand where she was coming from. And she said, oh, my God, my mother was the oldest of 8 children.
Right.
She had a lot on her plate. She didn't know what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, my gosh, now I can understand where my mom was coming from. Now I could forgive her. And she said that did what 20 years of therapy didn't even come close to. So it didn't make, I'm not saying that what her mother did was right, but she was able to see through her mother's eyes why. And if we could do that, things would be different.
How many times when people who are suffering or going through a grieving period because of the loss of a loved one are actually, and please don't get me wrong, are actually imagining this contact where there is no contact at all, that this is just the human body's way of trying to cope with grief compared to an actual contact?
Yes. Well, you know what I tell people who have lost their loved ones? I ask them to ask their loved ones to come to them and give them without a doubt signs.
Mm-hmm.
Something that normally would not happen. Crazy things. Tell them to be without a doubt specific. And the signs that come through when, people ask their loved ones to come through like that,
Right.
they're amazing. And I could go through the different signs
Mm-hmm.
over and over. And some of my own, when my mom passed, my friends have passed, the signs that I've received.
Right.
So that's something that's even outside of yourself so that you're not imagining it. And then it comes with, sometimes people see apparitions,
Mm-hmm.
they hear voices, and maybe it's a hallucination, but I'm telling you, after all the years of doing what I do, not hallucination. Because the messages that come through are things that I would never know about the person who passed.
All right,
And,
let me ask you this. You may not know it
Sure.
at the time, but there's ongoing research into extrasensory perception, where one can actually read another's thoughts, another's mind. How do we know that when communicating, when you are sitting in front of a client and you are communicating with what you believe is the other side, that you're not in fact just dealing or reading the mental images that are being housed in the person that you're sitting across from? You're mind reading them. And,
That's a good question,
Yeah.
and I could tell you very quickly how I know.
Sure.
There are things that the client did not know. I'll give you one example that comes to mind very quickly.
Okay.
A woman came. She couldn't get in to see me because I was booked, but she came to a class, and her father came through in the middle of the class, and the woman's name was Teresa, and she said, "Okay, if my dad is," her dad started to come through. She said, "If he's here, where did he hide the missing money?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Look in the attic, in the pink insulation in the corner of the room, and lift up the pink insulation, you'll find money."
Right.
So she said, "No." We looked through the whole house and all of that. Anyway, she went home, and I was cleaning up after the class, and I
Yeah.
received a phone call, and she was so excited. She looked under the pink insulation in the attic, and sure enough, there was a substantial amount of money there. And this happens
Wow.
often. Or things that happen, they'll come through with pet names from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this person's not thinking about their pet or
Right.
things like that, names and so forth.
It's truly fascinating.
But
Yeah.
the reason why I'm very excited, I just came out with an angel oracle deck,
Uh-huh.
which actually enables everyone to receive messages from their angels. And it's a very easy way of connecting with their angels.
All right,
So
listen,
that
Karen.
I'm very excited
Karen, you and
about.
I
It's
have
just
to.
relief.
Karen, you and I have to take our commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Exonation Karen Noe is our guest this hour. www.karennoe.com is her website. This is the Exonation, and Christmas is a very special time of the year. So, if you have something that you can bring to a food bank, maybe put an extra $1 or $2 in the Salvation Army or any of the other great organizations that are out there collecting money, toys, food for the less fortunate at this time of year. Please dig a little deeper. Smile at people more often. After all, the Christmas spirit is real. And can you just imagine if we carried the Christmas spirit with us, just not at Christmas, but throughout the rest of the year? What a great world this would be. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, and weightless, and maybe find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel. Fly away from here, from this dark.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, celebrating 33 years on air in the year 2022 on January the 18th. Wow. All those years speaking to so many great people, daring to go where people dare not go, searching for answers, demanding the truth. And we do that Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and on Simul Radio and Simul TV. There's some great new television shows that we have for you on the X Zone TV channel. That is channel 54 on Simul TV. Ask Sue London, the animal psychic or the pet psychic. We also have Paranormal Stakeout making a return with my good friend and fellow police officer from Florida, Larry Lawson. Larry is going to be taking his radio show or putting it on TV, and he's going to be doing paranormal stakeouts on ghost hauntings, monsters, things that go bump in the night, unsolved mysteries, aliens, alien abductions, and much more. Mission Evolution with Gwilda Wiyaka, A Different Perspective with Kevin Randall, Stairway to Heaven, and that's just a few of the great new TV shows that we have for each and every one of you on Simul TV at www.simultv.com. And for all of you who love our music that we play here, as I always do at this time of night, our first track in this segment was Alabama, Angels Amongst Us. The song that we used for the second entrance was Train, Calling All Angels. And this one here, Sarah McLachlan, In the Arms of an Angel. And our next segment will be Martina McBride, Wild Angels. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, and on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. If you'd like to find out any of the past shows that we have, there's a very simple way. All the shows on the X Zone Broadcast Network can be we have at xzbn.net. You go to the radio show host pages, and all the shows that these radio hosts have done are embedded there, so you can scroll up, down, find your favorite show, listen to it. And you know what? All this is free. We don't charge for that because we want to be part of the solution. We want to be part of finding the answers. There's too many people in today's society who are part of the problem. So we try our best to give you, our listeners, our readers, our viewers, as much as we can to help you find the solutions to life in these very trying times that you're looking for. Karen is our guest this hour. Her website is KarenNoe.com. And Karen, thank you so much for joining us. And before we went to the break, you were just starting to tell us about your new, the Angel Quest Oracle deck.
Yes. So very excited about this. They were just released 2 days ago.
Wow.
And yeah, I joined forces with a beautiful artist, Marie Antoinette Kelly, and each and every card, she channeled the artwork and I channeled the wording, and the rest is history, and it just came out. So I'm really excited about that. There had been angel oracle decks on the market, but the one who had been doing those angel oracle decks renounced them. So I said, I have to, I teach classes on how to connect with angels, and everybody loves doing angel card reading.
Sure.
I said, okay, I have to do my own. So that's why I did. I worked with Marie Antoinette, and the result is the Angel Quest Oracle.
So how does it work?
So it's so simple. What you do is if you get the deck, everything, all the messages are directly on each card. You want to put your energy on each and every card. So you take the deck and you put your energy, you flip through the cards, 1, 2, 3, there's 44 cards. Then you take the deck with the hand you do not write with, you hold it, and then you knock it with the hand that you do write with your knuckle, like boop. And what that does, it takes away the negative energy of whoever touched the card deck before you. And simple, so then all you do is you say, angels, what do I need to know? And you shuffle the deck. And many times a card jumps out of the deck, or the cards clump together, and you feel like this is the card you need to say. So the card is directly on the deck itself, and then you go to the accompanying book, and it tells you more about what the card means. So you don't even have to know how to do an angel card reading. It's all spelled out for you.
And of
And there's
course,
different ways of, doing this kind of reading. You could do past, present, future, and so forth.
this is an ideal gift for Christmas.
Yes. Perfect timing, right?
It
Just
is.
came out.
And where can people go to buy your books as well as your angel deck?
Yeah, you could go to Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. You could go to my website at KarenNoe.com.
Fantastic. Now, there's a lot of people who get mixed up when it comes to, let me see here, the difference between guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, and spirits, demons, as well as the spirits of those who have passed. Can you help us try and understand who is who and what is what, Karen?
Absolutely. So we all have guardian angels that
Okay.
are our special angels from the moment we're born all throughout our lives, and sometimes after. And if you believe in reincarnation, they come back and we have the same guardian angels. Sometimes we get different guardian angels, but they are only ours. Then there are archangels, such as Archangel Michael and Gabriel, Raphael and Uriel. And they could be with more than one person at one time. So you have everything to gain and nothing to lose by calling upon the archangel. Like, say, for example, Archangel Michael takes away negativity. So you need to take away negativity in your life, you would call upon Archangel Michael. Then there are ascended masters. Those are beings who have been here before in the physical body, but who have attained masterhood, such as St. Francis, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, all of them. And those are ascended masters. Then they're deceased loved ones. Deceased loved ones are not really angels, but they are spirits. And they have the same personality as they did when they were here. If they were loud, they're still loud. If they were quiet, they're still quiet. Funny, still funny, and so forth. But they do graduate.
Right.
I don't want to use the word graduate. They gain more knowledge when they're on in the spiritual plane and so forth. But we could all connect to all of them, and the way to connect with them is the same. Raise your vibration. Learn how to receive messages. And if all else fails, use an Angel Quest Oracle deck or any other Angel Oracle deck. You don't have to use mine. And everyone can do that.
Here's a question I have for you, because I feel that you are a person who might be able to help me understand this. We're talking about St. Francis as a... what would you classify St. Francis of Assisi as?
I would call him an ascended master.
Okay. He's an ascended master. Has he ever been
Yes.
reincarnated?
I don't know, but I don't think so. If he's still coming through the way he is, I would say no.
But
If something's still coming through the way he was,
But if reincarnation is real,
yes.
why wouldn't he have been reincarnated?
We choose whether or not we want to come back.
But
It's not that we're forced to come back. So
but
I wouldn't know. Yeah.
this is a quandary because I really don't believe anybody has the answer to that question.
No. But I know a lot of people say if you have attained enlightenment when you were here
Right.
in the physical body, maybe you don't want to come back. There's really nothing to learn.
Yeah.
And you could help more on the other side and help others, more people. That's the way the angels are helping more than one person. They're helping the whole world,
Right.
the whole universe. Yeah.
So if you're not reincarnated, let's take me for example. When I pass, could I become an angel? Could I become an ascended master?
Whatever you were here in the physical plane and you leave your physical body, you'll be at the same level of enlightenment. So if you didn't attain that highest level, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be an ascended master. But when you leave the physical plane, you feel your oneness with everyone and everything.
So it's like a
You
collective.
feel your oneness with God.
So
yeah.
so you're like the Borg on Star Trek, where they were a collective. Yeah. All right, stand by.
So-
We've got to take our final break for this hour, Karen. And Exonation, if you'd like more information on the Angel Quest Oracle deck, you can go to Amazon.com, and that goes for any of the products or any of the books that Karen Noe has written. You can visit her website at www.karennoe.com. As I've been saying this month, because it is Christmas, angels are around. I believe in angels. I've had experiences in my life where I truly believe I have been touched by an angel, had angels point me in the right direction. And when I was a police officer, I really believe that I was under the protection of the angels. Dare to believe, dare to be heard with yours truly, Rob McConnell, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and Simul Radio and Simul TV.
Let me be empty, weightless and between the perfect world and the bottom line, keeping love alive these troubled times. Well, it's a miracle in itself, and we know too well what that's about. Still, we made it through. Only God knows how. We must have had a little help. Must have been wild angels, watching over you and me. Wild angels,
Karen Noe is my guest to this hour. Exonation, www.karennoe.com. Karen, I would imagine that the angels are very busy these days with all the political unrest, the climate situation, the health of the world. How do they keep up with what's going on?
Well, they're ready to, if we're ready to listen to their messages and listen to raise our vibration so it's more on par with their energy, all of that will go away. But it's up to us. We can't blame God. We can't blame the angels. It's us we're doing all of this.
Who is God?
So, God is a source, universe, source of all. God is within each one of us. God's not just up in the sky. We all have God within us. We just have to remember who we are.
I often wonder why those in the position to make changes in this world are never contacted by angels? And if they are, why don't they act on the advice or the messages that the angels give them?
They're probably not listening. Or they think that most people wouldn't appreciate what the messages are. And oftentimes the message is peace, love, forgiveness, compassion. A lot of times people want to argue. I'm right, you're wrong. And that's not what the angels are all about.
So unlike the extraterrestrials that we believe are part of the, what do we call them?
I call them extra celestials.
Okay. They apparently can use their abilities to demonstrate to believers that they are in fact real, and they change non-believers into believers. How come angels don't do the same thing?
They're not going to force themselves upon us. We have to be willing. It's our choice. So that's the difference. But even extraterrestrials, I believe, they wouldn't come to us unless we are willing and able, I think. I know, as I was stating before, I didn't finish the story about my connection with an extraterrestrial. I was meditating, and I see this beautiful light in front of me, just pure light with the big eyes, as you see on television with the big eyes and everything. It just, oh my gosh, so much peace and so much love. And the only message it said, telepathically, was, you are me and I am you. I'm like, okay, so we are one with, yes, even the extraterrestrials. So,
growing up with these gifts that you have, how did your parents react? Like you were telling us that your dad would take you to the track and you'd pick the winning horses for him.
He used me.
But, you
Yeah,
know,
he used me.
Okay.
Let's just say. And my grandmother used to have a bookie, Nikki the bookie. I will never forget. And she said, what do you feel? What number's lucky? And I used to pick the winning numbers for them back then. So, and then I started having dreams of deceased loved ones. Mm-hmm. And I would tell them about it when I woke up. One night I had the same dream of an aunt who had passed the same night that my sister had that same dream. And we woke up both frightened. At that time I was afraid. Now I'm not afraid when I receive messages.
Science tells us that very few people can actually remember their dreams. So how come those, like yourself, who communicate with the other side, are so blessed to be able to remember their dreams?
Well, you have to wake up after the dream so that you remember it. If the angels or deceased loved ones come when you first go to sleep, you won't remember it. So you have to ask your angels to wake you up after your dream so that you remember it. And an actual visitation from them will seem like no other, and you will absolutely remember it years later in full detail, rather than if it's a dream of your subconscious about your loved one.
So if somebody is in the middle of a crisis right now and they need help, all they have to do is ask for it?
Yes. Ask the angels to come to you in a dream, let you know what you need, what you need to know, and to wake you up after the dream so that you remember it. And be patient and wait. And the dream will come when you least expect it. Maybe not the first night, maybe not the first month, but they will come when you least expect it, or give you a sign in your waking hours as well.
A sign such as?
They come through as a bird, a ladybug, a dragonfly, and they would do something that the bird, ladybug, dragonfly normally wouldn't do. They'll place objects in your path, such as feathers, coins, rocks. They make songs come on at the perfect time when you least expect it. They come to us in dreams. They show us the same numbers over and over. Electricity. They make buzzing sounds in our ears. So many ways. But what I call them are without a doubt signs, things that normally wouldn't happen. Something out of the ordinary.
But the signs that you just described, how do you know if it's real or if it's just not coincidence?
Can I give you, I don't know how much time we have, but I have a very good one.
We've got about 4 minutes.
Okay. I have a friend named Marion who passed, and they retained the same personality as they did when they were here in the physical plane, and she was very loud and sarcastic. So after she left the physical plane, I said, Marion, give me a sign to let me know that you're with me. So what happened was 2 days after she passed, I'm walking down the stairs of my house to put letters in my mailbox, and a bird was screaming at the top of its lungs in my driveway. And I said, "Oh, Marion, is that you?" And I knew, you just know. I walked to the mailbox, and the bird flew to the mailbox. A bird does not fly to you. They usually fly away from you. Stared at me, screaming at the top of its lungs. I was crying. And I said, "Marion, oh my God, I love you, Marion." And the bird continued to scream. I had a cell phone in my pocket. I called my son who was in the house. I said, "Tim, come outside. Marion's here." And he witnessed the whole thing. And a day later, maybe it was 2 days later, a mutual friend of ours, she calls me and she said, "Marion came to visit her." And I said, "What did she do to you?" And she said she just painted her kitchen, opened the sliding glass door, a bird flew into the kitchen, pooped all over the walls, and then flew out. And she said, "Thanks, Marion." So that was typical Marion fashion. My mother wouldn't come through like that, but Marion would do things like this. This is what I'm talking about. Things that normally don't happen.
You know, we've got about a minute and a half left. What are your final thoughts for the X Zone Nation? What would you like to share with them tonight?
I want everyone to know the power that they have within them and how we could change the world and create peace in our own lives and in the world around us. We just have to remember who we are, to raise our vibration so it's more on par with who we really are, which is only love and peace. We have everything to gain and nothing to lose by connecting with angels. They're there. They're God's messengers. And if you don't want to use the word God, source, creator, whatever, we have all that. We have it, and we should use this knowledge to create a better world.
When communicating and opening yourself up to these communications with the other side, how do you protect yourself from any negative force or negative spirit or any negative or evil demon from making that connection with you instead of a good angel, a good source, a good spirit?
That's a good question. But if you're on par with the energy of who you really are, that won't even come into your vibration. When you turn on the light, the darkness goes away. They're repelled.
Karen,
I don't have to, yeah.
Karen, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I wish you continued success. And X Zone Nation, if you would like to find out more information about our guest this hour, just visit her online at www.karennoe.com. That's www.karennoe.com. That's KARENNOE.com. As I've been saying all month of December, X Zone Nation, if you can dig a little deeper to help out those who aren't as fortunate as us, we have people in British Columbia who've been facing floods. We have homeless people by the score in every city going. My Lord, and to think that there's members of the military who fought for our freedom in Canada and the United States that are homeless, sleeping on cardboard boxes, that's an atrocity. And so many children are going without food, without proper clothing, without proper shelter. Come on, gang, we all have to get together and work as one to make this world a better place. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X Zone continues. With yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada. The X Zone is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. The X Zone is also a place where I am searching for answers, but I'm demanding the truth. Don't go away.